And Max Verstappen is lurking. He is lurking. And if it is raining in Brazil this weekend, what are we going to expect? We're going to expect exactly like last season. Exactly. And if he does DNF this weekend or has a bad performance, do McLaren end up picking Lando Norris as the number one driver? And if they do, what would the media do?
I'm out. Yuki Tsunoda is no longer in the world of Formula One.
Kiki!
Rah, rah, swear, swear, hey, hey!
And welcome back to the Break Late Talk Fast podcast, where today we're going to be covering a few segments. We got the championship stress rankings. We're going to be covering the title fight breakdown because it's coming down to the wire. And we are going to go over the preview for the Brazil Grand Prix this weekend.
Mate, whose hair's going grey? Who's sitting back on the beach, sipping a beer? And mate, is it going to rain the entire weekend in Brazil this time and cause absolute chaos? Let's get into it.
Hey, let's get into it. Now, we're going to start off with the championship stress rankings. Now, there's three drivers in contention, right? We got Lando Norris, we got Oscar Piastri, and we have Max Verstappen. But let's start off with the man of the moment, the championship leader, Lando Norris. Now, we're going to be ranking him from 1 to 10. So let's get into it. Lando Norris.
Lando Norris, for me, stress level at this point of time in a very, very stressful part of the season. However, to me, he doesn't seem to be getting too many grey hairs. He seems to be quite relaxed. So I've gone with a 6 out of 10 stress level for Lando Norris.
Hey, this man, he is currently the championship leader. He hasn't been the championship leader in what?
Since
Since
Saudi.
Saudi, right? So he's now sitting pretty. Will this affect him? We will find out, right? But he is looking very good. The pressure has not got to him at all. But I'm still going to give him a stress level of 7 out of 10 because, hey, he's got Max Verstappen on his tail and he still has Oscar, who was leading the championship pretty much all year.
At the same time, like, I just couldn't go higher because I feel like he just does not care that much about the sport. He loses. Oh yeah, whatever. Is what it is. Like he doesn't have put as much effort as Oscar Piastri and like Max Verstappen do into like the actual racecraft or anything. That's why I couldn't go any higher than a 6.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It's just I don't know. It's a tough one, hey, because he's always so hard on himself too. Like you look after the bad races he has, and he's just so like sad and depressed. And it's like, well, obviously the emotions get to him, and that's why I feel like the stress level is somewhat high. But like you said, I don't think it's as high as some other drivers.
Yeah, he's stressing into the first corner every season, and after that, as long as he holds the lead, he's stress free.
Honestly, get through that first corner, and he is Gucci. Now, on to the man, the Australian Oscar Piastri, who was the championship leader before this Mexican weekend. I feel like he has a higher stress level than Lando Norris.
Yes, I completely agree. That's why I've gone with a 10 out of 10 stress level for Oscar Piastri. He is like, what is going on with my man? He has fallen off his perch. He had a 30 lead coming into the summer break, and he's dwindled away and he's no longer the championship leader. He's looks like a shell of the man that was winning this entire season. He was a number one driver, and now with all this inconsistency, I feel like all these papaya rules around, he doesn't know what to do or how to drive the car anymore.
Yep, ever since that perfect weekend in Zandvoort, mate, that Grand Slam ruined him. So, yeah, I agree. That 10 out of 10, I'm gonna go with I'm thinking a 9 out of 10. I feel like he's still got that coolness about him. He's still got that calmness that everyone was talking about all season, where he doesn't feel the pressure. But I feel like at the end of the season, where it's what, 4 races to go, mate, the stress levels would be insane. He's lost the lead of the championship. He has Max on his tail. Lando looks like he's performing unreal again. So, does Oscar really have it in the bag? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it's concerning. It's concerning because we know him as Ice Boy, the son of the ice god himself, Kimi Raikkonen. However, What's going on with my man? As soon as some pressure was applied to him and he had to pull some really important results out, he just dwindled away, wasn't anywhere to be seen. I also feel like since Monza, you know, with that little swatch around with Lando, and then he did win the Netherlands. However, he just has not been on it. Like, what is happening?
I don't know, but it's coming down to the wire where you can't make mistakes anymore. You can't have just a bad weekend. It's you have to perform at the top for the next four races to win the championship. Otherwise, you are done.
Yeah, he has 10 out of 10 stress. However, I think he's a man that can cope well with his stress.
Exactly, agreed. So we're gonna go on to Max Verstappen, who is currently third in the championship, who is hot on their tails, catching really quick. What's Max's stress levels like? He doesn't need to win this, but he's now close enough where it's really possible. Really, really possible.
Max has no stress at all. He has a 1 out of 10 stress level. He'll, if he gets given the chance, skip a race and go do some GT racing or drive around the Nürburgring to get his so he can actually race in endurance cars. He will do anything other than F1. He does not care. This season was a write-off for him. He knew that from the start. The car was awful. He's just luckily come back into this championship race because the McLarens have put on some disaster classes and they couldn't pick a number one driver. If they'd picked a number one driver, they'd be well and clear right now. But Max is just there chilling. He doesn't care if he wins or loses. He's just driving a car because he loves driving.
Yeah, I totally agree. 1 out of 10 for me as well. He has zero stress. He doesn't care. He's there having fun. He knows he can win, but hey, he had a shit car, like you said, all season, and he's finally got a half decent car. And hey, if he wins, he's gonna be over the moon. But if he doesn't, I don't think he's gonna care at all.
Yeah, plus he's not he's like I feel like when you're the hunted, you're normally the stressful. He's just hunting. So he just if he doesn't get him, it's okay. He's won 4 championships anyway. A fifth he'll probably get next season, let's be honest. He's gonna come out the gates flying again. Mate, he like I said, he wasn't even in this title race at the halfway point during the season. Now, miraculously, the man's pulled a rabbit out the hat and McLaren have shit the bed. And now all of a sudden he's 36 points within reach of the championship leader.
Which is not much at all. And that's why you can't make any mistakes now, meaning Oscar Piastri at the top with the most stress. We got Lando and then we got Max. Now, I feel like we go on to the teams now, the two teams who are in that championship. They got their drivers. Let's start with McLaren. So, both drivers in the title fight, ready to go. What is their stress levels like?
McLaren's stress levels, honestly, sometimes I think they actually don't give a fuck about the Drivers' Championship. Like they only care about the constructors because they got the constructors. They made sure everything was fine, and since then they just like, oh, well, I don't fucking care what happens. We got what we want. If the drivers win it, the drivers win it. Even though no one gives a fuck about constructors, let's be honest. No one remembers the constructors champions. Only the drivers champion. So I've gone with a cheeky 7 out of 10.
Hey, now I agree to a certain extent, but when you have won the championship, and you have both drivers, one and two, can easily take it out. One of the drivers should take it out, but you have a Red Bull, Max Verstappen on your tail. I honestly think their stress levels will be currently a 9 out of 10 because hey, if they make one mistake and they lose out to both drivers and Max Verstappen wins this drivers' championship. This will go down as one of the biggest chokes ever. Literally ever. Like they had it in the bag. Like you said, if they picked one, comfortable. But they didn't pick a main driver. And hey, Max Verstappen can still take this out.
Only McLaren could have 2 drivers in the championship and fumble it to another driver that wakes up halfway during the season. Because it happened before with Fernando Alonso and Hamilton. They couldn't pick a number one driver between the two. They were fighting it out, duking it out. And then they fumbled the bag and through came Kimi Raikkonen. So history
Exactly.
is repeating itself now. But I think their
Uh,
stress though, where their stress is all in the mechanics. Their pit stops are disgusting. Like they're so slow. They're the number one team on the grid. They should have the most money. Why the fuck are they so bad at pit stops?
It's actually unreal. I don't know why that second pit stop every single race stinks. Like,
It
what are you
does.
doing,
And like
man?
actually the pit stops Lando Norris has received this season, I've got to be honest, they've been so bad. Every time he's pitted, it's been like 5 seconds here, 4 seconds there. Piastri's had slow ones, but not to the same extent as Norris. I don't know what the hell's going on. Unless Mark Webber's somehow doing
Hey,
the front left tire every time, but beats me.
hey, it's actually unreal because McLaren are normally known as, quick pit stops, this and that. And this season, they really fumbled their pit stops bad.
It's
So
what's happened to McLaren's pit stop?
we don't know. But let's get on to Red Bull. Now, Red Bull, I don't think have as high stress levels as McLaren do. But they have brought some recent upgrades because they are trying to give Max Verstappen the car to win that championship. So I feel like with these upgrades, it brings the stress up a little bit because they are not investing in next year's car and investing in this year's car. So they're
Hmm.
trying to make it work. They're trying to get Max that fifth championship. So I'm gonna go with a. It was between 6 or 7, but I'm gonna have to go with a 6.
6?
Yeah, 6 out of 10.
Fair play, fair play. Well, I've gone just one below. I've gone a 5 out of 10. Look, I don't think they're too stressful compared to McLaren. At the same time, I think McLaren sort of wrapped up the car as soon as they won constructors. That's all they cared about. They're not going to make any more improvements. If a driver wins it, a driver wins it. And Red Bull, like I said, they were down and out most of the year. Like they weren't expecting any of this to happen. However, I feel like with Christian Horner gone and Laurent Mekies coming in, imagine him winning a drivers' championship in his first year at Red Bull after the abysmal start. So I feel like he's feeling a little bit of stress, like maybe he could deliver something, and so just roll for a long time. And a bit of stress as well. Yuki Tsunoda's nowhere to help Max Verstappen. Like they're stressing over the second car probably more than the number one car because you need help from your teammate. You need Yuki to send it into freaking Lando or Oscar, and he's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, you need that second driver to hold him up. Where was
Hmm.
Checo in 2021? He was in front of Lewis, held him up, and helped Max win that championship. So you need that second driver up there just to put a car in between. That's it. Just put a car in
Exactly.
between, slow him up, do something. But hey, he can't qualify very well, and it will not be of any help to Max Verstappen at all.
No, especially he probably won't even be in the sport next year.
Yeah, which is pretty sad. But hey, I guess F1 is brutal, and even with another 2 spots, the best still can't stay. Now, I reckon let's get on to our next segment. We were just talking about the title, stress levels. So we're going to start talking about the title fights. We are going to go in depth and kind of just, see what the plan is for the rest of the season. So if you had to bet right now, who is going to win this championship with 4 races left based on, the races of Brazil, Las Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi?
All right, I'm going delusional. Piastri is gonna win the 2025 Drivers' Championship. He's maybe behind by 1 point. He may have lost his lead, but he still has that fight in him. I will put my house on it. I said at the start of the season Max Verstappen would win, but I take that back. Oscar Piastri is my favorite to win this championship.
Damn. I totally agree. I don't think he's lost that aura about him, that calmness, that coolness where he was executing perfect. I feel like something happened in the last few races to the car, potentially the chassis being changed, but hey, I feel like he's going to be back. Something's going to click and he's going to chase down Lando Norris. Hey, Brazil. I think it's an easy track for him. I think so personally.
Well, let's look at Brazil
Um,
last year, okay?
yep.
Sprint race, who and led every single lap of that sprint race besides the last couple? Who did?
Ooh.
Oscar Piastri. And guess what he had to do? Make way for his teammate, Lando Norris, to get the win. And then in the main race, the McLaren sort of fucked themselves over with strategy and everything
Yeah.
because of the rain. So I don't think that was really his fault for his finishing position. I believe it was eighth. But hey, he still has it in him. If he just does himself, doesn't do what the teams ask him, just thinks of himself, he can win the championship. He can lock in. I know he can.
He can get it. It's just going to be so interesting. We're going to know more after this weekend because if one of them three drivers DNFs, I feel like they're almost out of the race, right?
Exactly. I can't put my money behind Lando Norris just because we know his inconsistencies and like he can win a race and the next five are absolutely dog shit. Whereas
Exactly.
Piastri, I know he's been bad, but I'm gonna be honest, the pace he had in the race in Mexico was actually it was good to see. And I hope that he carries it over to Brazil. He did well last year in the sprint, like we just said. And honestly, he can do it. He can do it.
Hey, I reckon he can. I reckon we can. But the man Max Verstappen is lurking. He is lurking. And if it is raining in Brazil this weekend, what are we going to expect? We're going to expect exactly like last season.
P17 to P1.
Mate, I honestly think, hey, if these four races play out perfectly, as in rain in rain in Brazil, Max wins it. Easy, right? Easy. And that puts him straight up there into championship contention. He will be within like what, depending on how the McLarens go, he'll be what, 15 points behind?
Yeah, he's gonna take out the sprint win and he has to win the race to make a big dent into that lead because we're gonna expect the McLarens to pick up big points. It's gonna be the three of them are most likely on the podium. So Max has to win. Has to. That's the minimum he can do.
Damn. Now, I feel like this is going to be a big one for Drive to Survive because if Piastri ends up DNFing this weekend or has a bad race, I feel like the media is going to eat him up for the rest of the season because if he doesn't perform, I feel like he is out of the championship contention.
Yeah, he has to. He's got to turn it around because these last few weeks he's lost so many points. He's lost so many points. Um, and I do think he can turn it around. The tracks coming up, Mexico, Brazil, and Qatar. I think he can win. In Qatar, he won the sprint race there. I think there's a track suited to him. I think he can get the win in Brazil. He did well last time in the sprint race. Yeah, but the last two in Las Vegas and Abu Dhabi, that's where I see him potentially could lose the title.
Exactly. And if he does DNF this weekend or has a bad performance, do McLaren end up picking Lando Norris as the number one driver? And if they do, what would the media do? What would happen? I think it would be an outbreak on social media.
There's no way they do that. There's no way. They've left it way too late. This decision should have been made halfway through the season. I've been saying it for so long in this podcast. They should have chosen their number one driver. Even if it was Lando leading through or Piastri, pick freaking one of them. Because now you're at an opportunity where you're not going to win at all. Because of
Exactly.
your strategies, your papaya rules bullshit, trying to be too friendly, it doesn't make sense.
But what happens if he does DNF and they do pick Lando Norris as a number one driver? What is the go with Oscar Piastri? And then what is the go with, the media, everyone, just fans in general?
If Lando gets picked by McLaren in his last few races to be the number one driver, Piastri needs to leave McLaren the following season. It's just so crazy. Like, he should have been given the lead of the team this entire time, and now I'm surprised, even with 1 point, Zach Brown hasn't gone, Lando Norris, you're my number one driver. You're going to win the 2025 World Drivers' Championship. Honestly, I was expecting after that race, Zach Brown and Andreas Stella to be like, okay, we've chosen our driver to lead us to glory, and it's not Oscar Piastri.
Hey, and I totally agree. That's why I brought it up. If he does do bad this weekend, I honestly do think they will do it somehow. I don't know how they're gonna do it because I don't think it's possible to say that. But you know, I feel like they would do that. McLaren are like that. They're that type of team who are really weird and obviously love Lando Norris.
Yeah, if they do, I think really, Oscar, you got to get out of there. You got to get out of
Time
there.
to leave McLaren.
If they do things to actually favor Lando now, it shows that their bias goes towards Lando. Everything's going to go Lando's way as long as you're there at McLaren the same time as him. So, yeah. Piastri, you got to cook this weekend. You got to cook.
Come on, Piastri. Now let's go on to, yes, this weekend, segment three, the Brazil Grand Prix. Now, this track, I love this track personally. When I drive it on the simulator, it is a beautiful track. It is a short track. It's got a long DRS zone for overtaking, but it is quite bumpy, and there's always chaos. So, I had a look at the radar, and it looks like there's rain. And when there's rain, Max Verstappen gets happy and keen.
Oh, it's just not Brazil without torrential rain. Lance Stroll's going to be sliding out on formation lap again and get stuck at the beach in the gravel. So much shit will happen. The Alpines last year ended up on the podiums. Like, what the actual fuck? Ocon was leading that race for about 20 odd laps. You can't predict anything to happen in Brazil because there's so many different things that can happen.
And that's why our predictions today are going to be outrageous, I reckon. So let's get on to it. It's going to be a crazy race. Let's pick the winner. The winner of the whole Grand Prix. Not the sprint race, the Grand Prix.
All right, I've got winning in Brazil this weekend. Oscar Piastri, I think he bounces back, takes that lead back in the championship, and once we get to my DNF, we'll find out how big that lead is.
Now, my winner for this weekend for the Brazil Grand Prix is Max Verstappen. If it's raining, Max is way ahead of everyone. Everyone. Because who really has him in the rain? Last year, he went from P17 to P1, obviously with strategy, but he looked insane.
He's a freak at that track. It's just like he channels Ayrton Senna and just absolutely sends it around the track.
It is insane. So, well, we have Piastri and Max. Let us know who your winner for this weekend will be. Now, let's go into the podium. I'm going to make it a bit crazy, but I would like you go first.
Well, obviously in first place, I've got Oscar Piastri. Second place, I'm going Max Verstappen. And in third place, Gabriel Bortoleto comes
Whoa!
alive in Brazil. The hometown boy does it for the crowd, gets P3, his first podium in Formula One, adding on to the many, many more successes that the rookies have had this season. I just think he's going to be at his hometown. He's going to be feeling so good, so confident. If Hulkenberg could get a podium with Sauber, Bortoleto can because he's quicker than him.
Wow, this is crazy. Bortoleto, another rookie getting a podium this season. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Now, for my podium, I do have a different podium. It is the man in red, Lewis Hamilton in second. Lewis Hamilton
Yeah.
finally gets his podium because, hey, he's had a podium every single year in F1, and I feel like it is the time to get one this season. Now, in
Well, he
third
got robbed
position,
last week. He got robbed, but
he did get robbed, and that's why I feel like, hey, this weekend might be the weekend. Now, in third position, it was a man that you said back in Japan that was going to get a podium. Someone that might be getting announced this weekend that he's leaving F1, but Yuki Tsunoda on the podium after a shit season.
oh my God. I feel like Bortoleto has a better chance than Yuki on the podium at this point. Honestly, I can't believe I said that so confidently at the start of the year. And I can't believe you said it again. There's no way Yuki's on that podium. No
Hey,
way.
someone's got to get it right. You didn't get it right in Japan. You're way off. And you know what? It's raining, so I feel like it's going to be it's better odds than what your Japan pick was.
Oh my God. No.
So,
But Lewis, I hope Lewis gets on the podium because this season's not been so. And last week, and let's be honest, the stewards got that completely wrong. he was the only person to get penalized, and even Fernando Alonso was agreeing with him that the penalties were unfair. And those two hate each other, but yeah, Lewis back on there would be Mamma Mia!
And if you look back to 2021, Lewis was on fire. He went from P20 to P1. Just like that.
It can be
Just like
done.
that.
It can be done. It can be
So
done. He's
that's
one of
why
the
I think
goats.
the two goats, Max Verstappen and Lewis, both on the podium. Let's go.
Let's go. Now, should we do a cheeky DNF prediction?
We should, we should. Now, it's going to be wet. I feel like there's going to be many DNFs, right?
It's going to be like, I reckon there'll be 12 cars left on the grid.
12. That is a
12.
prediction right there.
Yeah.
12 cars left on the track
On
after
the
the Grand
track.
Prix. Damn. Well, I'll kick it off then. I'll kick it off with one of the McLarens, Lando Norris. Now, when it's wet, it's hard. And if he is trying to get past turn one in the wet, when he's already bad in turn one, I think he's going out. I feel like he's going to get collected, something bad's going to happen, and Lando Norris is going to be out of the race.
Well, this is awkward because I've gone Lando Norris as well. Here's my DNF prediction. Because if we remember correctly last year, one of my favorite memes from the entire year was think differently. And it was a photo of everyone going into turn one normally and Lando Norris just going straight off the track. He's does not fill me with confidence on this track in the rain. He's going to be slipping and sliding. First corner confidence here is not good. He's going to have a shonky start. And I just don't think he's. I think it's going to be over pretty quickly for him in the main race.
I agree. I think it's going to be done in turn one. That's it. Turn one, it is going to be done. He's going to get collected. Something's going to happen, and Lando Norris will be out of the race. But what does that mean for the championship?
That means Oscar Piastri is going to be leading. That's what it means.
We can only hope. And hey, we're 5 days out. I can't wait. Let's get it.
Yeah, sprint weekend coming up. Double the action. Double one. Now, quickly, a little bit of news that's come out. Yuki Tsunoda is no longer in the world of Formula One. Next season, he is signing for an IndyCar team. He's out. It's over. It's done.
Hey, it's surprising to be honest. Like he's a talented driver, but after the season he's had in Red Bull, it doesn't surprise me at the same time. Who's going to take him on the grid? No one.
No one. There's no spare. There's no spots. There's no spots. And apparently Aston Martin don't look like they'll be adding anyone because Lance Stroll's seat is indefinite. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So breaking news, basically, Yuki Tsunoda could race in IndyCar in 2026. Tony Donahue, IndyCar expert, Yuki said Yuki Tsunoda could drive the number 19 car for Dale Coyne Racing with Honda backing in 2026. And I think we'll know next week. And I don't think he'll be returning to his F1 seats.
Wow. Wow. Didn't think it would be Yuki Tsunoda leaving the sport this year. There's many other drivers who should not be in the sport of Formula One.
Who knows? Honestly, it could be good for him. He could go to IndyCar, race up a little bit more, and then come back. I think he's a man that's not done in F1. He could. He should be like doing well in Red Bull, but it's just not happening for him. I don't think that
Hey,
environment's good for him.
no, I feel like any team would be better than that.
Oh,
Honestly, as a second
100%. But
driver, any team. So
Yuki
sad to
Tsunoda
see.
out of the sport before Lance Stroll. Crazy.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa. All right, but I think that about wraps up this week's episode. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Break Late Talk for daily clips, memes, and F1 news. And make sure you smash the subscribe button on Spotify and YouTube for weekly, not daily. That would be
Ooh.
insane. We could do that maybe one day.
One day, one
For
day.
weekly episodes every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Catch us up at
Peace.